Hello everyone and welcome to a springing new episode of the StudioMEcast. I am your host Peter, joining you from StudioME's podcast lounge here in East Liberty. And if you like the look and sound of this podcast, well, you can book this space today at StudioME.me. But also, some of our loyal listeners may know that we have opened a new satellite location in Oakland, the meetup. There's going to be a link in the description below, so make sure you check that out. And if you're the kind of person who subscribes, well, it's certainly your choice, but we hope you do the right thing. Today, I am joined, as always, by yet another special guest. This is Krystle Grandy. She is the Vice President of the Women in Film and Media of Pittsburgh, and she's also producer at Brunner. There's a lot that we're going to be talking about. I'm sure we're just barely going to scratch the surface, but today I'm just going to jump in and say, Krystle, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I am trying to listen to all your instructions and be a good guest here.
Don't worry about it. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be fine. But I want to ask you about Women in Film and Media. For those who maybe have just heard the name or aren't that involved, or maybe it's totally new, what does Women in Film and Media Pittsburgh do? What are they about? What are y'all up to?
Well, thanks for saying it correctly. We really strive to work to empower women in the city who are in the film and media spaces. So that really includes everything, from advertising, commercial production, movie production, radio, audio, really anything you can think of in the media.
Podcasting, perhaps?
Yes, exactly. So
excellent.
And we don't just welcome women. We welcome all genders. We want everyone to be involved because even if you're not a woman, you can be an ally and an advocate to the women in your life and in the field. So I think it's really important, for not just women to be involved, but all genders.
That's wonderful. So this organization, it's the Women in Film and Media in Pittsburgh. Is it associated with, is this a larger conglomerate, or is it a Pittsburgh original? How's this come about?
If it's easier for you, you can call it WIFM.
WIFM.
That's what we all call it. So now everyone will know that's like that. It's WIFM. Right. A little easier on you. But yeah, we're part of like a national, there are other WIFMs all over the country. So,
fantastic. Yeah. Now I understand that you have a bunch of events coming up.
We do.
Why don't you give us a look at what these events are, where they are, and what the goal is with these?
Yeah, so our next event is actually next week, which feels like it's going to be tomorrow, but it's actually May 14th, and it's going to be at the Parkway Theater and Lounge in McKees Rocks. It's a really great space if you've never been there. They have a really great brewery there and then a bar in a small theater like screening room. So we're going to be hosting a directors and producers panel there. So we'll have 2 directors, and then we're going to have, I think, 3 producers. Yeah, 3 producers.
Are these film directors? Or
these are, local female directors.
Wonderful.
Who are going to be speaking about their experience in the industry, and we're also going to show 2 of their projects. So that'll be really cool. And then 3 producers as well that are going to kind of speak to different sides of producing, all local folks, all people who are really, really knowledgeable and experienced. So we're excited.
That's wonderful. So while you're promoting this, and you say this is May 14th, that's right around the corner.
I know,
that's
right?
exciting.
Next week.
Yeah. So, but we're going to have this episode up before that. So, awesome. Gentle viewer, you still got time. Check it out. Link in the description below. That'll be exciting for you. And now at these events, you have panels. It gives a voice, raises, just kind of, I don't know if awareness is the right word, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
So I understand that for a while with them, there was a bit of a break that took for a bit. Can you tell us a little bit about where everybody's been and all that?
Yeah, so the organization had a board that was kind of going strong, and I think things got a little bit busy for everyone on that board, so they kind of just decided to take a break and walk away and do their own things, which is totally cool. And then Faith Dickinson, who started the WIFM Pittsburgh chapter, kind of sought out new board members. And so when she was looking, I was like, this is something I could really get behind. So I applied and got accepted. And we started, maybe last year around September, I want to say, I don't know, sometime in the fall. We all got together and learned about all of the different things about being a board and what the board does. And basically did like a whole WIFM boot camp, and then kind of wanted to start this year in January. So this has been kind of our like first year really back and, doing things and being an organization out in the public again.
That's awesome. So for these events, we have these panels with these experts who are speaking. What are some of the topics that you think are going to be, what are some of the topics that are going to be brought up at these panels?
Yeah, so the panel next week, I think it'll be a lot of just the differences, right, between like all of our producers, all three of them are very different kind of producers. So I think it's really interesting to know like what somebody like a Carrie Collins does versus somebody like an Emily Deschamps who works with me at Brunner at an ad agency. It's just, there's a really good gamut of females on this panel. I think that we'll have a really great perspective on not just what producing and directing is like, but being a woman and kind of how they got to where they got to, and their backstories as well are really amazing.
Mm-hmm. So if you're, let's say, we have a lot of actors who will audition here at the studio in our media space. For any young actors, actresses who are interested in attending this event, is this something that could be helpful for them as well?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think all of our events, what some people don't understand, like sometimes I get people that are like, well, I don't care about being a director or producer, so why would I go to this? And my answer to those people is always, all of our events are networking events too. Like this event, all of our upcoming events, which I can tell you more about as well, we always have networking portions. And I feel like every event I go to even, I meet at least 5 new people, and we try to do a really good job as well. Like when I check people in at our events, I like to ask, hey, what do you do? And especially if they're alone or maybe don't know a lot of people, try to like insert them into groups of people or help them meet others that might be beneficial to them, whatever they may
Building
do.
Community.
Yeah,
right?
I really love that. And I think that, that's a really big part of what we try to do at all of our events is just connect people, help network, and yeah, just build that community in Pittsburgh so that there's a nice base of supportive women. Because I think hasn't always been that way. And especially women, I mean, you don't know because you're not a woman, but if you were a woman, you would know that sometimes women can be very catty. And
I don't know that at all. Guess you got to be a woman to know that. All right.
Actually, you're probably right. But in the industry, especially in Pittsburgh, I've found that, in the past, it's been very like competitive, and I don't believe that it should be that way. I think that there's enough work for everybody, and so it's really a big belief of mine to build that community for all of us to support each other and work together and not try to like tear each other down and compete with each other. I think that's the old way, and it's over.
It sounds very healthy to have that mentality as well, because on the one hand, yeah, it can be very competitive, but when you have more of a supportive community, then that in itself can help produce more work and more opportunities. That's been my experience, I guess, or theory, whatever. Is that something that you've seen be able to, is that a ball that's been rolling already with this?
Yeah, like folks that I've helped have helped me, you know what I mean? Which isn't why I do it, but it's nice. And I think too that the more crew, the more, talented folks that know what they're doing we have here in Pittsburgh, the more production, the more jobs that come here in the media space in general. So I think that, benefits all of us.
Yeah, I think especially with, probably media in general, but I'll speak to film on this at a moment, which is, you don't make a film by yourself.
Yeah.
And so if it is going to be a group effort, it's good to have that the community be built in a way that is meant to work together. It's just, in a weird way, it's like doing the good, like more positive thing can also be the more helpful thing, because it's just sort of more consistent with how the machine's supposed to work, I would imagine. It's like, and I understand that it can be, everybody's got their individual projects or dreams or ideas that they want to do, but even that is going to involve other people. So we mentioned actors, which as a catch-all, but yeah, actresses, and then producers, directors. What are some other because it's not just film, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned ad agencies. But let's expand a little bit. Can you give me some more examples of the types of professions and roles that are present or that you'd like to see more of at these events?
Yeah, it's really interesting that you asked that, because recently I was just talking to a female audio mixer, and they, I guess, have a smaller like female audio mixers organization in Pittsburgh that's obviously pretty small because Pittsburgh in itself is small, and then that's already niche. So it's great to see folks like that come out and feel like they're part of a community, you know what I mean, that might be like in these smaller subsets that are already small groups of people. Like, we don't have a ton of local audio mixers in Pittsburgh, let alone female ones, you know? So I think it's nice for them to come and feel like they're part of a bigger community. People in the news, like I have a good friend who's a news reporter who doesn't really know where to go to like find that community. She's come to WIFM events, which is great. We do get a lot of actors and actresses, like you said. We got a lot of people in the film and video production space. We get people really, we've had people register for our events as their job title is wizard. So
really,
you could really be anything and
Fantastic.
come to a WIFM event. I know. I was like, I want to meet that person.
Yeah,
whoever
absolutely.
they are.
On that note, do you have a Harry Potter house or anything like that?
A Harry Potter. What does that mean? A Harry Potter?
Well,
house?
like Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff.
I feel like the people that
If
say
you don't,
they're
I don't need to get
Slytherin-
you into it. But I was
No,
just
no.
asking since you brought up wizards.
No, like I feel like the people that say they're Slytherin are always really lame, and like secretly everyone is like, you're a Hufflepuff, like shut up, like you don't know what you're talking about. But I feel like I'm for real a Slytherin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do. You
And
know.
well, like this is to get into Harry Potter for a second because
What are you?
I've always said I'm a Hufflepuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that you'll admit that you're a Hufflepuff, because I feel like that's the
Badgers
least
are
owned
rad.
up to.
Yeah. I mean, part of it's that, part of it's like Pittsburgh colors, black
Yeah,
and gold.
good for
Also,
you.
I don't know if this was me projecting or not, but I always thought that when people said they were not even when other people said it, but like the idea is Ravenclaw is the smart people.
Yeah.
And I always felt like if I said I'm a Ravenclaw, that made me like, I'm smarter than you, and I'm like, that sounds like a pretty terrible way to introduce yourself to people. So, but whatever. It's but you brought up wizards, so I'm like, oh,
Yep.
you're a millennial probably. So it's like there's a thing for our younger audience who doesn't know what we're talking
Harry
about,
Potter.
or older, whatever, everybody. But anyway, so wizard, did you find out what that person was
No,
about?
I find
at
that
all?
sometimes at the events I really want to be more involved, but when you're the one that's throwing the event, you get really
Right.
wrapped up, you know. It's like
It's hard
I end up like talking to people for 2 seconds and I'm like, I'll be back, and then like the event's gone by and we're wrapping up and they're saying goodbye, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I never had a chance to talk to you.
I almost thought if it was like going to be VFX wizard and they typoed it out or something.
That would be
like
a good way to do that, I think. But it is nice to see all of the different people coming, and we're really still trying to expand that, like with each event. You know what I mean? Like we have some other upcoming events in May, and then June we're gonna have a summer picnic on the 22nd. Yeah, so it's going to be really fun. It's basically everything I've ever wanted to do at a family picnic.
Oh, yeah?
At this picnic, because they just let me plan it. So thanks, WIFM, for letting me just have the ability to do whatever I want. One of our friends in production supply vendor, Alex Kaysen, who does Pittsburgh Production Supplies, is donating, thankfully, some of his production supplies. So we'll have like musical chairs, maybe like garbage can pong, or like
nice.
a Frisbee garbage can
Oh,
game.
like a real proper summer picnic.
Oh,
I
yeah, water
love
balloon
this.
toss. Like, we're going to
Hell
be using
yeah.
cones to make, like, a sweet, like, egg race course. So, hell yeah. I think tickets are going to be, like, $5. And if you're a WIFM member, it'll be buy one, get one free. And kids and pets are welcome. And they're free, which is cool. And then I think if you're not a WIFM member, it's, like, $10. And there's a bathroom at our pavilion for anyone who's concerned about that, because I hate porta potties. So I booked one with the bathroom. But it'll be really fun. Like, we have the camera department will be there grilling with the ASMP as well.
This is going to be so much fun.
It's a whole bunch of different organizations getting together. So we have support from them, like the Lindsay theater, untitled content. Ryan Rust, a bunch of other folks are donating raffle baskets. And then I'm making, or I guess jerry-rigging, some very interesting trophies for each of the games. So everyone has that to look forward to. My
you give us a little bit of a what how are you? What are they going to be like?
Basically, I'm stealing the idea of someone who did this for Halloween a couple years ago, where they got like old kids trophies and basically just like took them apart and like rebuilt them to make them like cool.
because they've got bolts in them and you can just change them. Like,
so I've been like at Michael's with like little Scrabble tiles to create like titles and then you know, like tearing hockey guys off trophies. So my apartment looks very weird because there's like 15 trophies just sitting everywhere like dismantled, and I have no children, so people are probably like, what are you doing?
Are you a crafty person in general? Or
no.
So this is like you're like a couple years ago you saw this, and you're also talking about like this is the picnic you've always wanted to plan, which I can relate to the planning an event where it's just like you've been waiting your whole life to do this.
Yes, this is my moment.
Yeah, so that's exciting. I'm very happy for you.
You should come.
I think I just might. It sounds like a great time.
You know. It's going to be fun. We'll have Ginny Menudo as well is going to do all the craft services for it. So we'll have booze. We have a booze permit.
I'm coming.
I know. So we'll have all sorts, and everything will be free when you pay for your ticket. So you know you don't have to, unless you want to buy raffle tickets. That's the only thing. You know,
and that's a fundraiser, and it's for an like, hey, if you don't believe in the organization, why are you there? It's like, buy a raffle ticket, people. Come on.
And we'll have good things like liquor in them. I know like a couple of our different vendors are donating like movie tickets, you know, to their different theaters, like the Lindsay, for instance. So stuff like that, you know, that people will hopefully want.
Awesome. So, well, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Once again, everybody, link in the description below. Check it out. Come on, $5, $10 for the different tiers, membership, all that stuff. What's your excuse? It's going to be warm. It's going to be a beautiful day, most likely. It's a Saturday. You haven't got a plan yet for June. Come on, get out there. So that sounds great. Now, let's take it more. Are you, with your involvement with WIFM, are you personally more on like the film side of things or media, or both? Like, where do you fall in this as far as just what you do?
Well, you said I can say anything. So I will say in my career, I've done every type of video except for porn. So, and honestly, like I wouldn't be in a porn, but if somebody gave me the chance to produce one, I would fully take it because I think it would be fascinating as hell.
Have you got
again,
any,
I would not be in it.
Well, let's have fun here. Have you got any like porn plots figured out?
No, I just for a long time, I didn't know what a fluffer was. I thought it was someone who stood there with like a wand and like maybe tickled the actors. Right. That is not what they do.
I'm sure that's one way to do it.
I thought, wow, that would be cool until I found out what it was. And then I was like, I'm good on that. I'm a germaphobe, so I don't like the idea of the porn set.
Right. There's a lot of different types of video and stuff. What's your favorite to do, if you have one? But like, I know that's a hard question. It
immediately popped into my head. So when I started my career, I lived out in LA for several years, and like right after college, I remember I desperately wanted to be in music, and so I applied. I was in my senior year, and I applied to E-News for their internship, which everyone was like, that'll set up your career forever.
Like music production or music videos?
For video at E-News, to be, because I went to film school out in LA.
Oh, wonderful.
And then
UCLA or
no, Cal State Fullerton. I wasn't that smart.
It's all right, I didn't go there either.
I wish like I didn't go to school at all, because honestly, no one has ever asked me for my education. Like, I'm pretty sure I had a minor in yoga and public relations. Like, you know, my college education's debatable.
Do you ever get nightmares about missing a class for an entire semester or something like that?
No, I feel like maybe I'm just like too old now. I don't know. I get weird things, but I get nightmares about being late to set though. Always,
there
like still. That's like because it's happened to me before and I've had to like suffer for it. Yeah. So that's always like a nightmare for me. But yeah, so I was in school and no, you're fine. And then Capitol Records also, I applied to be an A&R with them after school. I was like, that would be so cool to like start out in A&R, and I have no experience at all doing this, but I loved music. And so E wanted to bring me on to start with them, which was really cool and exciting. And everyone in my life was like, do that. That's the smart thing. And then Capitol Records was like, we want to bring you on to work in music videos. It'd be like the first hire we would bring on for this. It'd be really like a new and exciting thing. And everyone was like, music videos are like a nowheresville, like, you know, they're going to die. And so, of course, I took that route because I've always taken like the least stable path in life, which, you know, is what it is. But I loved it. Like music videos.
Well, it's worked out so far, right?
Yeah, honestly, like I haven't starved yet, so that's good. You know, but yeah, I was a stand-in for Katy Perry on a couple of her videos,
that's cool.
which is really neat. Back when I was like 19, 20, I guess. And then, yeah, worked on a lot of music videos, and that kind of led into me meeting folks in scripted and led me to work with FX on American Horror Story, which is like another one of my favorite jobs. So doing all the music videos with like Kanye and just, we did Beyonce's Run the World at DNA when I was there, which was really, really cool. It was just amazing. Like it's a time I feel like that will never come back again, you know?
Yeah, that's what a whirlwind of fun that had to be.
It was really fun in my like early 20s, you know, to kind of like do that and then get into like FX. Like I remember doing American Horror Story the first season and like being on those sound stages and seeing like the guy in the rubber suit and being like, what in the actual hell is that? Like we had no idea what we were even shooting, you know, it was bizarre.
That's hilarious. So, well, wonderful. Now, here's something that I like to ask people who are in film and media in general. Not that you don't love every single part of the process, but is there a part of media, like it can be like rotoscoping, it can be writing, it can be whatever. Is there a part of it that you could do without personally? Like, I guess, what's your least favorite thing?
I don't love post-production. I feel like for me, I like the thrill of like prep. Like there's like the date and the stress and like every, you know, like I do a lot of like line producing now at Brunner, for instance, and like prep these shoots. Like next week I have a shoot in Atlanta, you know, I'm prepping it. You have all these deadlines and casting and locations and all these things you have to get done, right? And there's the date and it has to be done by then. I love that thrill. And I like production. I think it's just great to see all of your hard work kind of come to fruition. But post for me is just, I don't know, it's kind of a snooze fest.
It's a desk. It's a desk job.
Editors will hate me. I bet for saying that, but
well, that's I think that's one of the answers I get the most is like something in post. Like sometimes it's specifically like rotoscoping or sound mixing. Some people don't like editing, but other people love it, you know. So, but it's a cool insight for me to get from people. So, you do a lot of line producing as well. Now, do you write?
Not well. I would like to write. Like my boss wrote a book, and so I've started writing my own book. Just you know, kind of inspired by that. So
that's great.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I love that. I've convinced quite a few people to write books.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so I'm glad that you're doing it.
You're going to be in the, what is it, like the foreword?
I am quite certain I won't be in at least two of them. But but yeah, some of them, I hope so. It would be quite cool. But yeah, that's wonderful that, so you have started writing your book.
Yeah.
What kind of, is it fiction, nonfiction? What's this about?
It's nonfiction, you know, to be super self-involved. It's my story. And I think it's like coming up, especially as a woman in the industry, like early on for me, I was often like the only woman. And it was like pre-Harvey Weinstein. So a lot of the stuff that I had to deal with was stuff that I like never hope anyone has to deal with again, you know? Right. So I'm kind of interested in telling like my story. It's like funny and quirky and kind of weird and kind of, you know, crazy, I guess.
Something that I've heard a lot and I've found usually to be the case is that the more personal something is, the more relatable it is. That's something that, you know, a lot of people talk about in writing, filming, whatever. And in some ways it's like, yeah, the more specific you are, the more universal something can become and all that. You mentioned just now that a lot of your experiences when you were coming up in this, you were the only woman in the environment and all that. as time has gone by, and particularly, perhaps, this is maybe a little bit of a leading question, but through your involvement in WIFM, have you found that a lot of your experiences you've been able to relate to with the other women in the environment at these events and the organization?
Yeah, I think that for a long time, like I saw other women as like I don't know, like the others, like they just didn't understand me because a lot of them were in wardrobe and makeup and hair, and I felt like they didn't get production. They didn't get like what I had to deal with off by myself. You know, I was like working as an AD and a production assistant on set, and then a coordinator, and kind of in that world. But it's taken me a long time to understand that it's just great to have that community in general. Like, it doesn't matter what department somebody's in. Like, everybody, you know, has been so amazing to me. And some of these women on set that are in hair and makeup and wardrobe and actually are more understanding than I ever would have thought. You know, I kind of grew into, I think, the community and like being more like pro woman than I was. Like when I started, I was like, I'm a badass. I'm like one of the guys. I don't need any girls. Like I never had a female mentor. Every woman that I ever went to as a mentor was basically like, no, you're my competition. Like, why would I teach you anything? You know, so, and then there were always these really wonderful men like Mark Falone, for instance, here in Pittsburgh when I moved back, who took me under his wing and like taught me so much. So I kind of like felt like women weren't really like my tribe, but I've really loved being involved with WIFM because it's really changed that. I mean, it changed for me before I was involved with WIFM, but even more so now it's nice to like contribute to that community, you know?
And that goes back even to what you were saying at the beginning, where you have that support in this community where you're helping to connect people, so you're not passing on and perpetuating those negative experiences you've had. So that's really, I think that's one of the best things that anybody can, like, and I mean anybody can do in their life with what they're doing. It's like sometimes, you know, I mean, it's really easy to look at the big stories with the big heroes, whatever that means to anybody in particular, but it's like, that's really something where everybody has an opportunity to do the right thing. And like, and I mean everybody. So it's really cool that this organization is making that just its culture, the way that its community is working. And because I think that's just wonderful. So we've got the event coming up on May 14th.
Yes.
The one in June.
Yes.
Are there any other ones coming up that
we
can talk about?
We have like a full rest of the year of programming.
Oh, well, let's run through them. What's
we're
going
really
on?
excited about. So yeah, myself and Stephanie Swift are kind of the two that are doing the events for WIFM, which she's amazing.
She's
like
been on the show before, Stephanie.
Oh, cool.
If you're watching, hello.
I mean, I'm sure she'll watch. She's like a great supporter of everyone in the org.
We're gonna have her back on again with Rick,
good.
as well as been on the show. So I haven't forgotten you two. Don't worry, we'll have you back on.
So yeah, Steph does the educational events, and then I do like the events and kind of like lead like the events as a whole, I guess. So in, July, we're going to do a Women in Media panel at Brunner, actually, which is downtown. So Brunner will open up its town hall space and kind of allow the organization to come in, and we'll have a panel of women in different fields of media. So like the news, PR, you know, just different, a photographer, different females that are not directors and producers, because obviously that was our last panel, and trying to avoid like movies, really. You know, give other folks like a platform for a little bit.
It's easy for movies to take up the space, you know, but there's so much more there, you know. So that's great.
Yeah, so that'll be that. In August, we're gonna do a charity themed event. So we haven't really fleshed that out too much yet. And then I think it's September. Oh yeah, September. I'm trying to remember my little spreadsheet in my head right now. You put me on the spot. September, we're going to do like a hair, makeup, wardrobe, like special effects type scenario.
Very cool.
And that will probably be at the Lindsay Theater. And the exciting thing about that is I think we're going to screen like a local Pittsburgh like zombie film or something like that after.
Nice.
So that'll be really cool. They're in Swickley, so I'm excited. I love going there. And then in October, we're really excited because 100 Acres Manor is going to allow us to take over their house there for Halloween party. So yeah, I think we'd like to make it, something fun. So look out for details for that. I think that'll be a really cool one. And then we're going to do an actors showcase probably in November, which kind of allows, like, we're going to work with like casting folks in town. So like Nancy, hopefully Jared from Doherty, Steven from the talent group, bring those folks in and give actors and actresses an opportunity to kind of, showcase their skills and talents to agents and different folks in the city. And then, December, that'll be our holiday party. And then we'll do it all over again next year.
That's
We just try to not do like, what always drives me crazy is the organizations every month. It's like another happy hour. Because I'm not a big drinker anymore. So I'm like, I don't really want to go somewhere where the only activity is like drinking and talking. B, I'm like, I want to make it worth people's while, like somewhat interesting other than just like an open, like when I go to those happy hours, I'm like, I move towards the same people, talk to them the whole night and then leave. I want our events to be interesting, different, give something to folks and create opportunities for people to meet folks that they wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity to meet is kind of the goal. So
that's fantastic. Yeah, I think having that angle with differentiating the events, it gives people a reason to go to more of them as well. Because, if it's like, I already did like 3 of these,
Yeah.
But, like mixing it up like that, really cool. I really like that you're also just hitting so many different subjects with this, with and having the, for the different events. So that's great that you're just going over so much stuff. You're casting a really wide net. Now, that being the case, what kind of attendance have you seen / hoping to see at these events coming up?
Yeah, so our last event was a little smaller. It was a little more niche. Kind of wanted to try something that I thought was fun. So we did a vision boarding event. I think we had about 25, 30 people there, which was still pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But vision boarding, is a little niche. Like we had no men. Guys, you need to get out there and vision board, obviously. But it was a lot of fun. It's just, for the more crafty type of person. But our events before that, we had a PA training at Lightbulb Rentals, which I think we had about the same, like 25 to 30 people. And then we had a mixer, in January? That was about 100 people at Untitled. Yeah, that was a rager. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun there. And then I wish it actually went all night. It was that much fun. And then what was it? Oh, we did February. We did speed networking instead of speed dating. And that I think we had about 50 people or so. So been like slowly just testing out different event ideas and kind of seeing what people like and what they don't, and we're hoping for increased attendance as we go.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that it just seems like the more that people know about it and what's going on with it, the more are going to show up.
Yeah.
It's clearly very appealing. The events sound really fun and exciting that you've got going on as well. Now, you have these events going on. Outside of the events, are there activities or services or ways that WIFM is able to help and support this community that's being built?
Yeah, so that's kind of, I think, kind of our next year thing, Ray. I think if you go too hard too quickly, it's a recipe for failure,
Absolutely.
Right? So this year, I think our big goal is to get more members. We're at about 100 members right now, which is great. Membership's like $35 for the year, which is like
that's
nothing.
good. Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty inexpensive, and that gets you discounts and free events and whatnot. So I think really the goal this year, right, is get our name out there, grow our membership, get people involved again, let people know that we're involved again in the community and we're building the community to kind of move into next year, which will be I'm planning, as the vice president, this is just me, so the board can tell me no if they want to, but my hope for next year is A, merch, because merch is awesome. B, I think it would be really cool to do, like in January, we're hoping to do like a mentor-mentee program for folks. So helping folks, maybe if you want to be a mentor, help you find a mentee, kind of facilitate that throughout the year. And then doing like grants for female filmmakers or, female led films, I think would be really cool. I know we're hoping to do more like awards at different festivals and then also start up the Women in Film and Media film festival that we used to do as well. So I think all those things, as we accrue up our bank account a little more this year. You know, it's like when you get started from not being an active organization, you pretty much have nothing. And as we kind of grow that, you know, we're starting to think about what we want to do with that money, which is like support, you know, young women in film and media, or just women in film and media, anyone who, you know, is looking for our support and has a good reason to be involved with the organization. We're looking to kind of pair with.
Well, it sounds like a really good game plan that you have with these events, generating more interest, and it's something that's also manageable so that they can be a success. But then these future plans of like you said, a grant application, that kind of thing, with the different projects that you're hoping to promote. That's something that is, I think, there's a demand there in Pittsburgh on a lot of levels, you know. And it's not that there's none of that available yet or anything, but it's something that I hear a lot of people talking about in general, is getting from the level that a lot of people in Pittsburgh are to, more A-list or whatever. Is like there's a lot of space on that intermediate level, and it takes a lot to get through there. But a lot of the time you have to take that path before you could get into the, quote, big leagues of it. So I think that's really great that you're focusing on Pittsburgh and the community. And even though, like, WIFM is a larger thing, it's great that that's here for this. So now I think it's good at this point. Obviously, we're going to have a link in the description for membership and all that, and these events. Aside from, the answer to this might be no, but aside from signing up for a membership and going to the events, are there other ways that people can get involved? Perhaps volunteers who maybe are like, I actually want to be a part of making this happen. What are some more ways that people can get involved?
All of our committees that we have within the board, so like the events committee, where you would get to work with me, which might be, a positive for some people, might be negative.
I think you're coming across great.
Like, oh God. We're all volunteers on the board, so anybody can come in and help, and we love help and need help. Like, most of the events, it's really like Stephanie and I like spitballing with each other. So we're always open to folks coming in with ideas. We love volunteers, like I said. So we have membership committee, we have an events committee, we have all sorts of different, committees within the organization. Like we have governance and marketing and a newsletter and just all these different things that I think there's 7 or 8 of us on the board that we're all kind of taking on right now, which is a lot. It's like I said, I'm a volunteer, and I also am a producer with a busy job that I travel for sometimes. So it's like, it can be tough sometimes, but we all really work well together, I think, which makes it nice. So if anybody's looking to volunteer, it's a great group of folks, men, women. We're open to anybody joining the board, volunteering with us. We also have discounts with different vendors. So if you own a business and you want to, maybe sponsor with an event like our picnic, we are still looking for donations for raffle baskets, which would be great. And we do have vendor partners as well that offer discounts. I know StudioME is one of those, so that's really wonderful. We're just kind of hoping to continue to grow opportunities for folks. This year the goal was kind of one event a month, and I'm hoping as we figure stuff out, because like I said, I'm not an event planner. I do this in my spare time. So we're really figuring things out as we go. We're hoping to kind of add on to members' benefits as we go and figure it out.
Fantastic. Well, I think something I'd like to sort of migrate a little bit here. This might be a shout out portion of the conversation, but you mentioned some things like Untitled, StudioME, and but what are some other organizations that and you can repeat ones you've said before, but what are some of the organizations that WIFM is working with here in Pittsburgh?
Cool. I'll say StudioME because we're here and they're amazing. Love Keith and Joe, and you're pretty great too. Now that I know
thanks.
you. Untitled has been wonderful. Those guys are great. They have a great studio space over in like Spring Garden now, which is cool. And got Ryan Rust, who's like an independent colorist, has been really supportive, a great ally to the organization. Rachel Velazzi, a wonderful stylist. Darren DiNapoli has done photos and helped our event as well. We've had This Is Red sponsored one of our events and allowed us to be there, which is such a cool space if you've never been there. Lightbulb Rentals, I feel like there's so many. Led by Light. Upward Consulting, Pittsburgh Production Supplies.
Wow.
I'm like, so many folks, and we just keep trying to get more. That's the goal, is like for our members to really benefit from joining. That $35 a year to go far. So it's like I always see these discounts as really great, especially for folks that are maybe doing like indie films or something like the 48. Even if you're doing the 48 and you get 20% off gear rental here or space here, why not pay $35 for a membership, even just to get that for the weekend? It's kind of makes sense in my opinion.
Love the 48-hour film project. We've had a lot of talk about it on here. A lot of people have done it, including myself, and we've had PJ on as well.
Nice.
So yeah, that's and I remember that WIFM was part of like one of the sponsors for 48 and all that, at least some years. So that's great. And but wonderful. But it sounds like you've got a lot of local involvement and support right now, which is great. That just speaks a lot to the reputation of the organization. And it's just also, that's got to be really encouraging.
It's really cool. Like, I honestly got involved and had no idea what this was going to be like. So it's been really cool to like see things kind of work out, Like I am one of those people that just kind of like, I like to gamble in life, not at the casino. I come from a gambling family, and I like to roll the dice, and kind of did that with WIFM, and things have been working out, knock on wood. So
I understand that. I like saying I like drama in my films, not in my life.
Yeah.
And
I think that's why I like producing, because it's like, there's just always like an issue. You just always have to have a plan A, B, and C, which is probably why I'm like a psychopath in my personal life, because I'm like a decent producer. So it's like made me a crazy girl, which it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk with you a little bit more about you. So you mentioned you were involved with a lot of music videos. Do you enjoy, like, do you like music videos, or is that something like watching them? Are you not? Do you like checking them out, or are you sick of them? Like, how do you feel?
Obsessed. Like to the point where back in school, my job during school, I was a Hot Topic model and was in a lot of my friends were in like All Time Low music videos and stuff like that. Because like, that's just what I did, got into. And I just always loved like the music scene. Like I toured, I did like Warped Tour, toured with like Blink and different bands, which is really fun. And I miss that part of my life for sure. It just wasn't sustainable. Like music videos these days, it's like who's really making them and paying well. Like even when I was doing them, we were like on the lowest rung. Like I remember the producer I worked for like lived in this tiny studio, and the IRS was like hunting him down for all these taxes, and
Yikes.
I was like, I don't want this for my life.
Yeah.
But I used to stay home sick and watch like music videos, like Sam Bayer, who did Smells Like Teen Spirit with Nirvana, was like one of my first inspirations, and did like the Black Parade, the video where they burned down the float. And the drummer from MCR got like burned in it because it was so haphazard. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's super badass director. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like music video directors, like it was such a great space for really cool directors to come up in,
Yeah.
So
It's so great because we had a filmmaker on before, Aaron Moore, who talked about how he's leaned more toward music videos lately because, and one of the reasons why he said is you can explore just like a concept or an idea, like that doesn't have to last for like a full movie. Or sometimes like a lot of music videos, right, they do have stories in them, but sometimes you might just have an idea for a look or an effect or whatever that you just want to do something with, and you're able to, like, people are showing up for the music and the artist, and you're able to have fun with it. You're able to try something new or whatever, and it's just there's fewer rules for what you got to put in there in order for it to be acceptable, I guess, which is part of what I find exciting about them. It sounds that's
Same.
true with you.
I love that. Yeah.
Now, is there something I'm trying to figure it because I could ask like, oh, do you have a favorite music video? But I think I'd say like, do you have a favorite kind of, I don't know, trope or theme or something that you like to see in music videos or you'd like to see more? I don't know if you could do anything with that question.
I don't know, man. I feel like I miss the days where I used to like watch them, you know, like recently I was at a bar in Atlanta after a job with a coworker and they were playing like 90s music videos, like the Atlantis, what was it, Ironic video and whatnot. And I was like, man, I miss watching music videos. Like I just don't watch them. Like where do you watch them anymore? You know, MTV used to play them like in their off hours and it's kind of a bummer. So I don't really have a good answer to that question because I just don't watch them like I used to. Like I get really excited when I can watch them, but just I don't know.
I mean, that might even be in itself a hidden answer. It's like, yeah, the music videos used to be more just around like there. It's like people still make them. You can still get them and check them out on YouTube and stuff. But you're right. It used to be it seems like they used to be put in front of people more. Yeah. And they haven't disappeared or anything, but it'd be cool if they found another way back into, you know, where they used to be. Because I know exactly what you mean about that. So I think
hate to be that girl too, but I do love Taylor Swift's videos.
That's fun. No, here's the thing, because all right, I'll get on
They're
a little.
so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I like I was in high school when her song where she plays the main character and the bad girl in it, you know, and geez, I'm blanking right now. Hang on. She's the band girl in it. She's dating she's the ones where she's going messages through the window, writing stuff with
I know which one. I don't know the name of the song.
Jeez,
I'm not a
hang
huge
on.
Swiftie.
I'm going to get this. Hang on. This will not stand. I got to get this in my head if I have to
I
cut
know
it.
all the Swifties are going to be in your comments. Like, what the hell?
I don't understand you. Been here all along. I can't you
Is
see?
it called
You Belong With Me? That's it. Yeah, okay. Love it. Great stuff.
Yeah.
I studied that music video on my own out of school, just being like, all right, this is great. Just connecting. And I was like, I don't like, you know, what is going on here that makes this special? Yeah. Also, maybe I'm just not in like the whole Swiftie subculture or anything like that, but I hear a lot of people talking about like forever. All right, this isn't a new thing, but forever everybody's talked about how Taylor Swift just sings about breaking up with people. I'm like, yeah, she writes breakup songs, but she writes love songs. Yeah. And it's like, agreed. You are the best thing that's ever been mine. You know,
I think Me is such a fun song with the guy from Panic at the Disco.
Right.
And they're both in that music video. Mm-hmm. And the song, what is it? It's like the man song where she's like a dude. It's so fun. Love Story, the Romeo and Juliet one. It's like, so I think I don't think it's fair when people paint her music with just, oh, she's just breakup songs. I'm like, you listen to her music. There's a lot of different subjects going on here. So, but anyway, that's just, you know, whatever. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a huge super fan. I haven't gone to any of the concerts, but I mean, I enjoy at least some of her music when it's on. Likewise,
so, yeah. But yeah, that's no problem. Don't apologize for liking something. Gosh. In fact, my wife and I were just at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, well, just a few months ago, and on the top floor they had some of her wardrobe and props from some of her music videos and stuff. It's but yeah, well, good stuff. So sort of starting to wrap up a bit here, because we've gone through the events, we've gone through the services and all that. Everybody remember a description below. I'm going to tell you one more time before the end here, but don't forget links and all that. But with you, did you say mostly being a line producer or producer these days?
Yeah, so I'm a full-time agency producer at Brunner, and I kind of joined right after A Man Called Otto with Tom Hanks. I did that movie. I did travel for that as a travel coordinator in Local 161 IATSE, which was really great, and kind of was looking for something a little different. And in between movies and TV shows, I've always freelanced on commercials, just the money's good, you know, to be completely honest. And the people are great. And Brunner was hiring me to freelance, and I really like the people, and kind of, I could not tell you like when I've had a full-time job and been like in it, you know, like really in it. And they basically were like, would you ever consider a full-time job? And I was like, okay. And I've been there like a year and a half now. So
that's great.
It's really cool to have, I think it's really different, right? Being as part of a team, a video team and a creative team versus just being a freelancer. Because
Absolutely.
before, like I didn't have anyone to bounce a lot of stuff off of, and now I'm learn so much all the time. I am able to like line produce my own jobs and then work as an agency producer with production company partners on other jobs and learn new things, and it's been really cool. So I mean, I'll stay as long as they'll have me, I guess.
Well, that's fantastic. It's really great to be a part of a team. It's there's, on the one hand, there are, those sometimes romanticized ideas about being, the freelancer, like, lone wolf, whatever. But when you get onto a team that you really are performing and forming with, well, that's just I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
That's what I'm leading up to here.
Thank you.
Well, that's great. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
Before we close it up, is there anything else that you want to let people know or reiterate or anything?
I think just, join WIFM, even if you're not in movies or TV shows or video, really, we welcome folks of all different, media careers and professions, and then also guys, show up. First of all, we have a lot of really amazing, successful, cute single girls that come to the WIFM events, which is great for the single dudes out there. Second of all, you look really good. I feel like when you're an advocate and you're a guy that supports like these women and an organization that doesn't maybe not benefit you, but I think it's a good look, and I think that why not go for it, because it's a good look.
Well, I think you are probably going to get on a lot of people's good side with all those reasons there, and that's fantastic. So, well, I've had a wonderful time talking with
Likewise.
you, and we'll be, remember everybody, the 14th, it's coming up. We're going to have this episode out like before that, so check it out and enjoy yourselves. And if you did miss that one, well, hey, there's June, and there's a lot of them. You can't miss all of them. Come on. So, but thanks again for being my guest.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, and hopefully I'll see you at an event.
I would like that very much.
Cool.
All right, everybody, thank you very much for joining us once again for a special springing new episode of the StudioMEcast. As I promised, I would remind you once again that there are links in the description below, so make sure you check out all the things that Krystle was talking about, and we hope that you've enjoyed this time with us. If not, you can't get it back, but we do hope you subscribe, and to see you next time, because we'll be here. Hope you have a good rest of your week, weekend, life, etc. Bye-bye. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you want to start your own podcast, why wait? Reach out to us at StudioME.me, and I hope you hear me again soon.